Okay, welcome to this week's episode of Luv Subbin, and happy election day.
Yes.
So we always vote in person, but as you can see, we decided to do a late fall trip or early winter trip, whatever.
Exactly.
So we're going to be here at our little ballot box by our town hall, dropping off our votes, and we'll be doing some winter camping here. So should be interesting.
Yeah. Go out and vote.
I think it's going to go get pretty chilly.
Yep.
And then it's off down for a couple weeks.
Down
to
south.
The coast of Carolinas, hopefully. Maybe some Thanksgiving in the Luv Sub.
We'll see how it goes.
Hey, happy election day. Let's get into this episode. So because this campground is in northern New Hampshire and it's late October, November, there's all the water's been shut off. So we've topped off the freshwater tank to 100%, and we're going to fill our jerry can so that we have a little bit extra should we need it. Because it's all turned off up there, and we're full.
And we also don't know when we're going to get the next amount of water.
Exactly.
So as part of our cold weather camping and our further adventures when we head south, we put together this bin that has our summer clothes so that when we get south and it gets to be 70 degrees, we can switch out our winter clothes for our summer clothes.
You see here we set up the security camera, so that I can check the condition of the driveway to make sure we have no snow coming back. And then I set up my weather station so that we can view the temperatures inside the house, so that if we were to lose power, we can see if we're in danger of pipes freezing. So that's just kind of part of our setup.
So we are approaching Echo Lake State Park, and there are already 4 Airstreams here. And we thought we would be like one of the first. So we'll find out where we're gonna end up.
We're here, and there's no reservations, there's no water, as I said, so...
Well, at least we'll have electric, but everybody will jerry.
Yeah.
Well, what do you call it when a bunch of people hook up to electric?
A bunch of people hooking up to electric. So let's go ahead and back her in.
So after a freezing, soaking tow, we've arrived at our destination, and things don't look too bad. Not too shaken up, which is good. And we're reading about 48 degrees on our little thermometer here. I don't think you can see that. So Rich is trying to get me some heat, and I will start getting things set up here. So we haven't even unhitched yet. Very chilly inside. Oop, the light's on. That's the light of happiness. So I've got gas, but before I attempt to light the propane heater, I always check to make sure there's a free flow of gas at the stove, and I will be using a hand clicker and not this, because I can't tell you how many of those knobs that I have stripped over the years, and so checking the gas using a hand clicker is much better. The sound of heater happiness. You can see Rich out there unhitching and doing his whole checklists and stuff. He's wearing the traditional attire of a Gloucester fisherman.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Franconian Notch State Park campground. You can see the rigs are lined up in the back against kind of that hill in the woods. Okay, 2 things as we look at this sweet drone shot of the campground. First, a note from Rich the editor. Cindy and I throughout this video have been calling this campground everything but its correct name. Cindy's been calling it Echo Lake State Park, and I've been calling it Franconian Notch State Park. In actuality, it's the Cannon Mountain RV Park. And second, for everyone who's flying drones out there, I thought I would point out this app from the Federal Aviation Administration called Before You Fly. If you click on it, what it'll do is it'll show you all the restrictions for flying drones in that area. For example, who knew that the Franconian Notch area was the Yankee 2 military operations area? And if you get onto YouTube and search Franconian Notch C-130, you'll see a couple of really sweet C-130 Hercules doing that Star Wars Death Star trench flight using the Notch as a training area. It's pretty cool, and I recommend you check it out. Again, it's kind of a parking lot kind of thing, but there are 7 sites only. They're reservable, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at the sites. All right, you can kind of see our site here. We're site number 2, and there are fairly level. There's just a small half a block, so they're tucked away in these asphalt pads. So again, we have 30 amp electric. I was expecting more snow last night, and the Hughes Autoformer that I use is, they call it weatherproof, not waterproof, and I was worried that should it become buried in snow there'd be issues, so it's on its little block and pad. Kind of see the pretty standard. It's too cold to sit out under the awning. So there's a review of the Franconian Notch State Park Campground. I mean, full hookups. You've got the lake. This would be a spectacular place during the summertime or early fall. And during the winter, it's just kind of hardy for those diehards of us to get some winter camping in. You can see the snow didn't materialize as bad as we thought it would. We're supposed to get 1 to 4, and really we just kind of got a dusting. But that's okay by me at this stage of the game. And so as you can see here, it's $25 per night, and you put your little envelope into the Iron Ranger there, which we've done, and here at Franconian Notch State Park. You are close to the road, the main road there, so you do occasionally get some road noise, but like I say, hey, for summertime, this should be on your list of places to go. All right, as you can see, we're standing here at Echo Lake, which is right attached to our campground. We've been here 1 year in which one of our friends was able to take a swim in Echo Lake. I don't think that's going to happen this year. You can see the snow on, that's Cannon Mountain ski slopes, and you can probably see some of the snow in the background there, but it's a beautiful area. It's just a little chilly today. We're taking all the precautions we can to make sure our rig is fully set up for winter camping, and go from there. Yeah, so one of my strategies for cold weather camping is to make sure that the water tanks are pretty full. So we're probably at about 60% or so. So we're gonna add another 6-gallon jerry can tonight, probably another one tomorrow. We've got 2. And my theory here is that it's harder to freeze a big ice block than it is like a little ice cube. So I figure the more water I've got in the tank, the less likely it is going to freeze.
Well, tonight's going to be the coldest night, so...
Right. And of course, if you watch this video up here, touring our Airstream, you'll know that ours doesn't have a belly pan, so we're not venting hot air around the water there. So let's go ahead and fill this puppy up. So you can see one strategy we have for dealing with the super cold temperatures is all liquids from the truck have come in. So the jerry cans of water, our box wine, our additional cranberry juice, and then that bin there contains all of our canned seltzer water and canned beer. So, all right, so what are we doing here right now, See?
So I got a little creative with the chicken tonight because we were going to grill the chicken outside, but it's, what, pushing 20 degrees outside?
Yeah, about 20.
Yeah, so I did a butterflied chicken stuffed with ricotta cheese and with ham on top and roasted veggies. All done in the oven, and the oven the plus on the oven is that it helps heat up the Airstream. So in the summer, when you don't want to use the oven because it's so hot outside, in the winter, you want to use the oven.
All right, good morning. It is about 3 a.m. and we are going to do some preventive measures here and do some checks. First, we're going to turn on the hot water heater just to cycle that on to make sure that that thing's staying hot. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to run some water into our coffee pot for tomorrow morning, and we're going to take a temperature of our fresh water tank to make sure we're not anywhere near 32. If we're anything near 32 degrees, we're going to do like a pilot with a fuel dump, and we're going to do a panic dump of the fresh water. So let's go ahead and turn on that hot water heater first. That guy's going to get lit up, and let's go ahead and get some fresh water and see what that temperature is. Alright, the first good thing is that we do have fresh water flowing, so we don't have a big solid chunk of ice. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got here. All right, that's looking at 40, 47-ish or so. Floor temperature is still running at 52. So if our gray and black are holding out, we should be pretty good for at least a little bit. We'll let that go ahead. Hot water heater, go ahead and heat up. That's encouraging that the freshwater tank is not a solid block of ice.
After we got up, we thought it would be fun to check for drafts using Rich's infrared camera. Note the darker blue areas. They indicate cold spots. This one in particular corresponds with the outside storage compartment. This is an area we may consider insulating in the future. There was also a cold spot in the front of the bed, and this is where there are a couple holes for the battery cables, and that's probably what's causing the cold air. If you want to learn more about Rich's infrared camera, check out this video here.
Okay, one question we get asked a lot, or that I hear asked on the internet, is what type of portable heater do you carry should your furnace fail? And believe me, your furnace can fail. We had one of our buddies here who had some furnace issues, who had to leave early, so it can happen. So I think the ceramic ones that you can install in line and permanently install are great, but we don't really have the room for it. We haven't done that yet. So what we have is a little buddy heater. And this thing works quite well, or Mr. Heater. It's a little buddy Mr. Heater. And we can position it where we need it to go, and it serves not only as a backup should our furnace fail, but also when we're doing some boondocking for like at a harvest host where we're just there for the night and it may drop down to 40 or 50 degrees. This thing is great just to get the edge off in the morning. We'll turn that off, or I'll turn it on because somebody else will be snugly cozy in bed, and we'll take the edge off. So this is what we use, the Mr. Heater little buddy. It's Sunday morning. We're getting ready to head out, but we had a good conversation at around the fire last night, and it centered around whether you turn one or both propane tanks on. I've always turned on both, and the reason for that is we have the automatic turnover. So if I run out of this tank, it'll automatically go to this tank. And we had some of our folks here run out of their propane in the middle of the night at 1 in the morning when it's 14 degrees outside, and they have to come out and turn their other tank on and switch the valve over, which you can see here. This is truly one of those things in which there's no good answer, because with my system, by turning on the both tanks, I never actually know when one of them is going to run out and be empty. I kind of have to guess that. When you have just one running and the other one's shut off, well, you definitely know when you run out because everything goes off. Now, if you're there and home, that's no problem. If you're gone and you run out of gas, your heating and stuff is going to be dicey. So, you know, leave a comment below whether you think it's proper to leave both tanks on and constantly run both tanks and keep an eye on them and check them, or whether you should only run the one tank and then immediately switch it out. This one here is, I know, now empty, and I'm running on this one, and it's getting pretty low looking at it, so good thing we're leaving today. Okay, one additional piece of kit that should be in every cold weather camper's arsenal is a little squirt bottle like this, so that if you have a frozen valve or something, if you have a frozen valve, you can go ahead and squirt some water, hot water onto it, and what that'll do is it'll help free that frozen valve. And a hairdryer will work, but the heat density of a water is far greater than air, so you're going to thaw that valve a lot quicker with a squirt bottle of water. Should be in everyone's kit. I don't know if you can hear that, but the wind is absolutely roaring. I don't know if I've ever heard it this loud. Listen to that. That's just wind. That's crazy. Now I know why Mount Washington, which is just down the road, has the worst weather in the country. Some crazy noise. But that's winter Airstream camping. And now I'm about to do the worst thing on the human planet, and that is wind an electrical cord when it's 34 degrees outside. Yep. One of the least favorite parts of winter camping is, I'm glad we don't have 50 amp, that would be even worse. But a stiff power cord, trying to wrap it up. But we'll survive, won't we see?
Yep, we're getting on our way.
Well, there you have it, winter camping.
And it's still cold.
It is still very cold, so I think it got down to about 14.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's not much better tonight, so it's going to be chilly. But nevertheless, we hope you found some things that we did interesting.
Yep, and we'll see what happens when we try to dump our tanks.
Yeah, that might be dicey.
That'll be interesting.
But hopefully you learned something.
And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up.
And if you think we earned a subscription, click the subscribe.
And comment below if you have done any winter camping and what tricks and tips you might have.
Because we come out with RV and Airstream related videos every Tuesday.
Thanks for watching.